we're going to leave it there. We're really honestly going to leave the cliffhanger right there. What an absolute gut punch. Ruby, my girl, what is Akazaka doing to this girl? I was suspecting that they were going to find the body. It just seemed like an obvious. They keep hinting at the idea that he is missing, he disappeared or whatever, and I figured the moment they got there, they were going to find the body. But I was assuming it was going to be Aqua, that Aqua was going to find his own body. And he even went to go to actually look, but then he stopped. And I should have seen it based on the entire episode, hinting heavily on how Ruby loved him so much. Ruby adored this doctor, and so I should have seen it coming that she'd eventually come across the body. I guess I should have, the moment that the crow grabbed the stupid keys, I should have went, eesh, that crow's going to take her to the body, isn't she? It's going to take her to the body. Ugh, it seems like this little crow person, I think, is orchestrating everything. And I'm really kind of curious at this point if this crow person might be this goddess of entertainment or whatever. Possibly they were the one that kind of obviously orchestrated the two of them coming to this body. They mentioned this episode that I was actually birthing two children that had no souls, and they brought these two other souls to this body. And what kind of purpose was that is really a big question mark is going to be for the overall story, I think. But yes, Ruby finding the body. Ugh, actually, again, how much she adored this doctor. She loved this doctor so much. And yes, showing in this episode that he was everything to her. Her whole reason for doing what she's doing is because of him, which is kind of a shocker because all the way up until like, I don't know, like 2 episodes ago, or maybe it was last episode, we indicate this idea that the only reason that Ruby was doing this was for the sake of I. She had this dream of fulfilling the wish and the dreams that I had in her place. But no, what we've kind of established in this episode, no. It all began with Aqua, or at least Gorou. That Gorou at some point kind of inspired her. Her whole reason for moving on in her life, to having those dreams, those inspiration is all from him. He pushed her because her parents weren't there. I don't think they've established before that her parents were pretty much non-existent. They were off in the capital or something, which makes me kind of wonder if eventually we'll run into them again. But yes, Sarina herself was left alone in this hospital and dying away. And they couldn't get there in order to see her before she passed away. And this upset Gorou. But he was the one that was there. He was her rock. And yes, it's their common love was through I. But in the end, she adored the doctor. She loved him so much. That's why she wants to find him again. And to have her find his body and completely shattered at, it makes me wonder how she's going to get back up on her feet. Again, this is this person that has basically been her entire pillar. Like, her whole life has been centered around wanting to find him. Now, she can get back on her feet through just everybody else comforting her and helping her kind of move on with her life. It could turn into a thing where I still want to carry on this legacy because I want to do it for him as he's watching me. Similar to I want to get on that stage for you who's watching me from above. It could be also the doctor. He's watching me from above. I need to succeed on this thing. But it does make me wonder if they're going to start. This is going to be the point where they're going to possibly veer it towards an Aqua Ruby pairing. Yeah, there's a lot of people that obviously watching this series are going to have their ships, and there's going to be a lot of people that love Ruby so much and they want to ship the Ruby Aqua. I'm pretty on board with it. I've been always for Kana, obviously, but I'm on board with the idea of the Ruby Aqua kind of thing because what they've sort of established here. And especially since, yeah, it seems like they're pushing away Akane and Kana. The two of them are being pushed away right now. And we're now shifting towards Ruby absolutely adores Aqua. Now, the problem with this whole thing is that we've never really indicated this idea of Aqua loving, well, Gorou loving Sarina. Now, it kind of indicated the idea that, yes, she constantly was confessing to him. And he's like, wait until, come back to me when you're 16 or whatever. Like, get older. Like, I can't, this is not going to happen. I have there's just no affection there. He just adored her, wanted to help her, and she had nobody, and he was there to comfort her. It kind of put it in the realms of a little sister or something like that. So he was kind of taking care of her where her family was not there for her. And there is a lot of indication in this episode that does seem to be predicated on, or at least influenced by the idea of what he went through with his childhood, which I think was a really cool reveal here. But yeah, I just don't see there being that affection the other way around. As much as Ruby in her previous life loved the doctor, it never indicated that from the doctor's standpoint. So that's the question mark. But it does lead me to believe that this is all kind of pushing the idea that she found this body it's going to come to light. They're going to obviously tell the police. And then, Aqua and all them are going to rush over there to see Ruby and Akane and try to, console them because they just found a body. And I think Aqua's going to pick up on the idea that Ruby is broken. Or Akane is going to tell Aqua what is going on with Ruby. No doubt, this entire time that Akane and Ruby are going down that direction, and she's hearing all this stuff about this doctor, and then seeing Ruby break in front of a doctor's coat, this is obviously the person that she was talking about. And she's probably going to tell Aqua she's destroyed because even if Ruby wants to keep it to herself, like she can't tell anybody that I know this person, I love him, Akane can tell Aqua she knows that doctor. And he's going to go, but that was me. How does she know that? They both know that they're reincarnated. They just don't know their identities. This is going to open that door. And at that point, I think it's going to be Aqua's going to have to go to Ruby and say, that's the question mark. He's going to go and console her, obviously, but is he going to be willing to tell her? What would be so bad about him telling her is really the question mark. I don't see why he wouldn't just tell her, that's me. I'm sorry, yeah, don't worry about him. He's me. I've moved on with my life. Here I am. Don't worry about it. And at that point, it's going to be Ruby's, I think, going to either go through like this little conundrum where she's going to go, but you're not the doctor, even though you are the doctor because you've changed so much. Or she's going to immediately go, I love you. And it's going to be her all after him. But again, the massive problem here is that I don't think Aqua is going to return that love. Because I don't think he ever loved Sarina. He loved her as like a sister, adored her, but not romantically. Whereas Ruby, Sarina, romantically loved him. So that's going to be the problem there. But I think it's going to go on full-on ship in that direction. But yeah, the other thing that kind of pushes that direction is the fact that in this episode, it really did feel like Akane and Kana are just kind of being shipped out. Like, we're not going to ship Aqua ever again, which is fine because it does seem like there's a Kana-Akane ship going on right now, and it's getting heavier and heavier. Like, every little shot we have Akane, she's over here geeking about Kana. She's over here taking pictures. She's watching her on the bus, just like, gee, just staring at the back of Kana's head. Like, obviously cleaning up her outfit, which in the manga is a little bit more clear about what Akane is doing there, is that Kana is standing there in her idol outfit with a jacket on, and it's all ruffled up. So that's why she ran up there and starts fixing up everything. It's because she got this jacket on, and it's making it all wrinkled up. It didn't seem like it's messed up in the anime, so it was a little weird. For those who don't know, I read up until where the anime adapts every single episode, so I'm not reading beyond, but yeah, another little interesting thing is, again, it seems like obviously he pushed away Akane. Aqua has pushed away Akane, said, we're not really in love, it's fine, go on, you have a bright future ahead of you. So he's cut that off. But in this episode, it seems like it's pushing more to him pushing away Kana too. Because he did go out with Kana, it did feel like there was a little bit of a spurring of something there, like he is trying to find love. But this episode, it almost put like this massive like wall up immediately out of nowhere. Because Akane is like, yeah, if she's really going to become an idol, which I think she has that attention grabbing. She's a great actress. I know why she's so good. She's constantly yelling, look at me, and it's hard not to look. But then she asks, do you think she'll be a great idol? And Aqua says yes. He knows what's going to make a good idol. He possibly sees something in Kana that he kind of seen in I. He knows idols. He knows what makes them good, and so he's going to obviously say, yeah, she's got what it takes. Problem is that yes, Akane, at that point, seemingly because she's given up at this point, mostly, and the idea of, okay, he wants to break up with me, we're done. But now she's seen that Aqua and Kana are going out, and now she's giving him a fair warning. Now, the anime, or at least the translation that I got, it kind of put it as Akane says, you got to stop dating her. In the manga, it says specifically, you got to stop dating her like you did this last time. She's giving Aqua a warning here, saying, if you're going to keep dating her, as you keep dating her, you got to be more careful. She's saying specifically, you're dating her, be careful where you go. Again, the translation is very different here. It indicates the idea that she's saying, as you keep dating, she's passing, it's almost like she's given up at this point. But anyways, the key thing here is that she's warning Aqua, she's an idol now. Actors, it's fine. We go out with people all the time. It's not as stringent. But for idols, they can't be seen with anybody. Yes, we've established this already. This is what the entire series opened up with, is this toxic aspect of the idol industry where these girls can't be seen with other people. They can't have love. They can't have boyfriends. Because why? These boys are coming to these idol shows because that's their girl. The idol industry is what it is because it paints this image of this pure girl that you are supporting and you are their one. And thus, if they have a boyfriend, if they have a relationship, why would you support them anymore? Why would you back them? Why would you adore them so much? Why would you buy their merch when they're some dudes? I think it's toxic, but at the same time, it makes sense. Why would somebody want to support a woman that is being supported already? They're not yours. It's a simp culture kind of thing. It makes sense, but at the same time, it's super nasty because when it comes to things like Guy literally comes in there and kills her because she betrayed me. And this is where it connects for Aqua, and I think it's really pushing away Kana. I think going forward, we're probably going to see him push away Kana. Is that he's finally connected in his head, oh, that's right, Kana's an idol now. And if they find out that I'm going out with Kana, she might end up in a tabloid and destroyed by it. There's a big controversy. But additionally, she could end up like I. And this is a really... I hats off to the animators, by the way. In the manga, in this shot, it goes... And the worst thing is it could end up like I. And it shows I dead in that one scene. In the anime, it shows that same scene, but Kana is there. Really good extra touch there because I think it cements in our mind what is in Aqua's mind. He sees Kana dead like I. And again... The fact that they went that far with that makes me believe that Aqua, ever having a relationship with Kana, is going to be cut off because he's going to be constantly thinking about she could end up dead like I. I can't let that happen. So I think it could still happen. Like his relationship with Kana can still happen. But I think at that point right there, it kind of cemented in my mind, he's going to cut off from her. I think he's going to cut off from her at that point. Anyways, I went down some rabbit holes with this one, but yes, I loved all the shots from back in the past. I love the contrasting that they did with this entire episode, because yes, they're going back to their hometown, and so there's going to be a lot of these kind of shots where it shows the character kind of feeling like they're back at their own shoes. The shot where Aqua's on the sidewalk and he sees I walking in front of him, recalling the guy behind him and then reminding him to go find his body, having that little brief shot where you have Ruby and she's on the sidewalk at the streets and she suddenly, it looks down and you see her feet and it's her old self and you see her barefoot and everything like that. I love those little contrasts that shows this feeling of nostalgia they have, this feeling of being in their old shoes once again. They had a little brief moment at the very beginning talking about how there's a lot of like people that come there for the shrines and whatnot, and specifically Ame no Uzume no Mikoto. And this is specifically a goddess of entertainment. This is the kind of one that a lot of people come here for. This particular director is in the area because of this certain thing. And it's interesting to kind of, I guess, apply that possibly to this crow individual. This goddess that is constantly popping up. I'm assuming it's a goddess. I'm assuming it's a goddess because at some point it cuts to this crow individual. And they immediately talk about this idea that, yes, God must be nice because she was able to take you two who had issues with their parents, who seemingly did not have any sort of real relationship with their mothers, and put them into the bodies of two soulless babies. That is the big key thing there. It's noting here, or at least it's implying here, that I was going to birth two dead babies. Two babies that had no souls within them. And this God took them two and placed them into those babies. What a kind God, or whatever. So I think that, again, is implying more to this being sort of a bigger picture. Said specifically, perhaps there's a deeper meaning to it. And that could be if this is a god of entertainment, if this is the one they're talking about. It could be specifically they were trying to birth these two children that will be insanely successful, that will move on to the new life where they'll be entertainers and be something big. I don't think it's going to be something as cheesy as that. But I think there is sort of a bigger purpose here they're going to be implying at this point for the story. But yes, getting into parents, like I said before, getting into Ruby's past was heartbreaking. Everything around Ruby has always been sort of a heartbreaking story for me. I loved her early on story. I'm loving they're finally getting back into Ruby. Like the whole beginning segments talking about her trying to learn how to dance. I noting the idea that she's always moving as if she's going to fall. All that kind of story stuff in there really does break my heart. And again, in this episode, getting more into her slowly passing away, her parents not being there for her. All that stuff is super heartbreaking. And yes, a lot of the comfort she found in Aqua. But in this episode, we got Aqua stuff too. We got to find that Aqua unfortunately did not have a relationship with his mother either, which was super shocking. But yes, Aqua going to the doctor, the hospital, finding out that, of course, he's disappeared. They're claiming that it's possibility that he just kind of up and left. Then he finally goes and getting find the body. Akane making some comment about how he's so nice because he's trying to find his dead puppy after so long. But no, eventually he goes to his house. And this is very, very interesting. Obviously, I think at this point, Akane is probably going to be looking more and more into this doctor and probably find out something interesting. And again, I really do kind of wonder at this point if she's going to be the one that kind of figures out the connection between the two of them before even they do. But yes, he walks in this room and immediately starts talking about this doctor that he knows, this other person, definitely not me. But that's when we find out that, yes, his mother was apparently hiding the pregnancy that she had with Gorou. And at some point, birthed the child by herself in her home, which is, yes, a very dangerous thing to do, which really sucks at that point. She ends up bleeding out and they find the baby, end up taking care of the baby. They don't know who the father is. They end up passing it on to the grandparents. The grandfather doesn't seem to like him. Grandmother seems to be very, very comforting of him. And yes, he decides to become a doctor based on everything that he's kind of experienced. He decides to become a doctor. He wanted to become a surgeon because he really liked this character in this book, but becomes a doctor. And that all leads into, yes, despite everything he did, he's still a disappointment because it seems like he blames himself for the death of Sarina, which I can definitely see that, especially for doctors. That's one of the things that I think for doctors, people in the medical field, anybody that has a patient they're taking care of and losing those patients, my heart goes out to these people. And I think there's a lot of people that might find themselves kind of putting up barriers for their patients because of that. Some people put up those fake barriers in order to block themselves from being emotionally attached to people. Some people get extremely emotionally attached and it breaks them every single time. Some people come to grips with the idea they're going to lose the patients, but they still want to take care of them as they do and comfort them and still manage to accept those feelings they have when those people pass away. And yes, right here, it seems like Gorou, this is something that really did hurt him. And I think a lot of that probably has to do with the fact the parents weren't there. And it really does hit him home in the idea that his parents are gone, that they weren't there for him. So overall, like everything behind Sarina and Gorou in this episode really did kind of enhance their characters because everything we had before this was really just their relationship and their love of Ai. Whereas this really does expand on Aqua's character to a deeper level and gives us a little bit bigger timeline for him and his previous life. And yes, not so much for Ruby herself, but still getting a sense of how much she adored Gorou. And I mean, how much more you can expand when this girl was literally most of her life stuck in a hospital room. That was her life. It's not to downgrade her character. That was unfortunately her life, stuck in that room, stuck in that hospital room, just waiting for the day they die. It's super tragic. I hate it. Did I cover everything? Wow, this episode just flowed in my head. I just had so much stuff to talk about, and I don't feel like I've really covered really any of it. Yes, they finally revealed the ED. They finally revealed what the crow is picking up in the ED, and that is the key ring that Ruby, or at least Sarina, give to the doctor. And this is this keychain that she got in the only concert that she was able to go to. She gives it to the doctor saying, you know, take this as a symbol of me, basically. And so, yeah, that's obviously the thing that she ends up seeing on the doctor. That's kind of proof. Ugh. Maybe the keychain will be what connects it. Maybe she'll grab the keychain from his body, and even though they come to retrieve the body, she'll have the keychain, and then Aqua will see that. That's another thing, too. A lot of fun Memcho moments. Her, obviously, being able to work late because she's not a minor. Had some brief moments of Akane as well, mentioning the idea of her possibly becoming an idol, which she kind of shoots down quickly because she's like, you know, I tried a reality TV show. I'm going to stick with what I'm good at. Did kind of offer to Ruby the idea of becoming an actress. It does seem like, yes, Ruby at this point is pretty open to the door to wanting to become an actress, but she wants to focus on getting to that stage first. Which technically, after everything that happened in this episode, it does open the door to the idea that possibly Ruby will give up on being an idol at this point, and maybe she will just become an actress just to fill in the gap. I don't think so, though. I think she's still going to want to push to becoming an idol. Ai's dream is still there. That is still half of her, if not a little less, of her reason for living right now. But yeah, I think that's it. I think that's everything. I think I covered everything. It's actually a long episode impressions, but I hope you guys enjoyed my run through the episode. Really fun stuff. If you are a fan of the manga series and have read ahead, I don't need to answer any of these questions. I love speculating, and it was a lot of fun. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, hit that like button before you leave. Comment. Let me know what you thought of the episode. Additionally, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe before you leave. If you like this content and you want to support channel more, I have links in the description below. Greatly appreciate what it does. Until next time, until the finale, actually. Y'all take care.